I'm going to give you guys a hint and a little tip that is pretty important if you spray paint a lot, like I do. Every time I spray in my booth, there's a fan that pulls the particles, the solid particles, the paint particles that I don't spray on the model. They have to go somewhere. So they get sucked out through this filter and out and vented out. So it's really important, and I kind of figure out when I'm going to do this by how much painting I do. It's pretty obvious, but I did a whole bunch of natural metal finish stuff, and I sprayed them all in the same filter. As soon as I was done, I pulled that filter out, put a new one in. Also, when I change the booth around, I like to, and this is good stuff here. This is just brown paper that you would buy. It's you buy it at the local hardware store, and it's basically used for masking and doing lightweight work, painting work. I buy this paper and I use it to coat my booth, for lack of a better word. I paper the walls in my booth with this brown paper, and I take a sheet of cardboard and I tape some of the brown paper to it, and I use that as my painting base down on the bottom. I'll show you. Rip this old paper off, and you got cardboard. So I have one made up here, a clean one. I always keep two of them here. So I'll pull this out, I'll take the filter out, and when you take this filter out, I'm going to tell you before I do it, you should put your mask on, because when I pull this filter out, a lot of dust particles are going to float off of it, and I don't want to breathe them. So here we go. So the next step would be to vacuum out the paint booth. In other words, I want to make sure, and this is really important, and it's something to think about. When you paint and you're spraying air around, it's going to kick up loose dust. And the paint that comes off of the filter, especially if you don't change your filters enough and they get really clogged up, the particles are, number one, not going to go through it, and they're going to come back and you're going to get it in your face and everywhere else. It's also important to clean out the booth of dust so that when you paint your model, that dust does not end up on the model, which is a real pain. I mean, if you're trying to get, especially doing like natural metal finishes where you need a completely gloss, perfect surface, if you spray some dust up, a whole area of the model could get little pieces of hair and stuff on it and dust. You don't want that. So clean the paint booth in between. I'm going to do mine right now. Then I'm going to put in a brand new filter. These are pretty cheap. I mean, you can buy these for about $2 a pop down at the local hardware store. Just measure your booth, get yourself some filters, keep them in between big jobs, change the filters out, change the paper in the booth, and you'll have a nice clean working area and you'll get the best paint jobs you can. Okay, so that's a hint for you guys. We always talk about cleaning the airbrushes really well. I think it's just as important to clean your paint booth regularly. So clean them up, get spraying, and we'll see you next time.